Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Electric Viking. Stoked to have you here. If you've already subscribed, thank you. I appreciate your support. It means this channel can keep going. It's basically the difference between me making videos or not making them. So if you have subscribed, you're the reason that I'm here making them. Thanks very much. I appreciate your support. Did you know, in 2010, Toyota Motor Corporation invested $50 million into Tesla. Since then, the stock is up around about 19,000%. So what would Toyota's initial investment be worth today if they had have done the smart thing and held on to it? $20 billion. That $50 million would have turned into $20 billion. And just imagine what Toyota could have done with that money. They could have made some electric cars. Anyway, if you had invested $1,000, just $1,000 in 2010 into Tesla, how much money would you have today? Now, remember the context though. Context matters. The auto industry was convinced that electric cars were toys, golf carts, junk, and a joke, really, back in 2010. And somehow here we are today, where basically everyone except Toyota has admitted that they are the future and made plans to be selling pretty much only electric vehicles by 2030 or 2035. Back in 2010 though, it's true that EVs were impractical, expensive, and I understand why at the time many people thought that the technology couldn't achieve critical mass to disrupt the internal combustion engine, which is what it's doing right now. Now, when Tesla filed for its initial public offering, IPO, in January 2010, it was a 6-year-old startup best known for its Roadster EV that would set back consumers a cool $110,000, quite a lot of money back in 2010, 2008 in fact. So back then, betting on Tesla and its quirky CEO Elon Musk wasn't really a sure thing, and I can understand why people wouldn't have done so at the time. But if you were convinced that EVs would be big, buying into the hype surrounding its IPO wouldn't have been crazy. Just investing only $1,000, let's be honest, seems like a punt that was worthwhile, considering everything Elon had done before then had succeeded. Everything that he had done had succeeded. Now, obviously today you'd be sitting on a nice profit if you had invested just $1,000 back in 2010. But let's have a look at Tesla's market debut 11 plus years ago and see exactly how much money you would have today. Now, Tesla went public at $17 per share in 2010. And today it sells for around about $700 per share, which is good for a 19,000% increase. Now, in comparison, the S&P has only quadrupled in value over that same period. Only quadruple, so only 4 times. So that initial 1,000 Tesla investment made over a decade ago would be worth $147,400 today. $147,400. Just imagine if you invested $100,000. That gives you a compound growth rate of over 45% annually. So this raises an interesting question. Have you missed the boat on Tesla? I don't think you have. I actually just invested another few $1,000s into the company last week, even at this perceived high valuation. Now, Tesla has a long road ahead of it, but I firmly believe they will become the world's biggest car manufacturer, car seller, the world's biggest car company, the world's biggest company, period, by 2030. I think there are some others that are going to do very well as well, including BYD. But I believe Tesla will be the biggest in the world. Now, right now, Tesla stock is down around about 20% from its highs when it reached over $900 several months ago. So is now the right time to get in for their next 19,000% rise? Well, I don't see a 19,000% rise happening anytime soon. But I do think that the stock will double in value over the next 18 months. Now, back when Tesla started, Big Auto just completely dismissed EVs. They just wrote them off as a joke. But there has been a lot of excitement with the competition between Tesla and Fisker, even though this seems ridiculous, really, in hindsight. Now, Fisker sold the Karma, which was another high-end EV that sold for over $100,000. Whereas Fisker was popular among the glitterati in Hollywood, quite a lot of people invested into the company. But Musk wanted to build EVs for everyone, and he promised to develop cars for $30,000 or less, a move that would launch sales skyward. And that's pretty much how it worked out. Fisker went bankrupt in 2013, and its assets were sold to Chinese auto parts maker Wanxiang Group. Tesla, on the other hand, went on to become the most valuable auto manufacturer in the market today, valued at over $633 billion. In comparison, second place Toyota is worth just over $276 billion, and third place General Motors is worth $71 billion. The current iteration of Fisker comes in 14th place at just under $4 billion, which I think is a ludicrous valuation on the company based on what they do right now. Now, what about in comparison to other stocks on the stock market over the past 11 years since 2010 when Tesla made their IPO? Well, Tesla has actually outperformed every single large stock currently in the S&P 500, plus all of those on the mid-sized S&P 400 and S&P 600 small caps on a percentage basis. Let's be frank, guys, the magnitude of Tesla's boom is really difficult to fathom, and massive percentage of their valuation right now is based on their future potential. Obviously, they're not producing more cars than Toyota, they're not making more profit than Toyota. However, they're headed in the right direction. Whereas Toyota is perceived to be potentially the next Kodak, Tesla is perceived to be the next iPhone that is going to take market share from Nokia. The old Nokia phones, the new smartphone comes along, boom. So let's compare the market value of Tesla to Toyota now. At Tesla's current value, they're worth roughly 270% more than Toyota Motor Company, making it by far the most valuable automaker in the world. Well, what about General Motors and Ford? They're basically rounding errors. It's ridiculous, right? Tesla is worth 10 times more than General Motors and Ford combined. 10 times more than them combined. So how are GM going since 2010? Well, shares of General Motors are up about 26% since they were relisted in November 2010 following the 2008 to 2009 financial crisis bailouts. And Ford's shares are down nearly 10% in the 10 years since Tesla went public. For good reason. Ford has enormous debt and their long-term prospects are actually extremely problematic. Even though, personally, I love some of Ford's products. Americans love Ford trucks, obviously, Ford Utes in Australia, but they have enormous debt and their cash flow position is only just high enough to be able to cover their debt repayments. I actually made a video all about this on the channel. I'll put a link in the description to what's happening at Ford and why I believe the company could go bankrupt by 2030. Now, over the last 2 quarters, Tesla made a profit. In fact, over the last quarter, Tesla made by far the biggest profit it has ever made, and it actually made around about 27% in profit per vehicle sold. Now, the average industry average for profit per vehicle sold is around about 9%. So you can see how there's enormous potential for Tesla. But I don't believe personally, I'm not invested personally into Tesla because they make cars alone. If they were just making cars, then I think their valuation would be utterly ridiculous. They're not. They do a lot of other things. And I think the robotics, the AI, the autonomous driving, the energy network, batteries, all of those things are the reason that Tesla is valued where it is. And all of those things are the reason why Tesla is actually still cheap. Thanks for watching the video. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye.